Well, good morning, everyone. Good morning. And welcome to one of a series of interviews from the Festival of the Sound in Parry Sound, Ontario, Canada. My name's Keith Horner, and I'm helping celebrate 30 years of music making, 30 years of very fine music making here at the Festival of the Sound on Georgian Bay. Today, two young musicians who are making their first appearance at the festival. They're both RBC stocky young artists. And from the Netherlands, there's violinist Frederieke Saeijs, and from Spain, pianist Leopoldo Erice. Frederieke, do you come from a musical family?
I come from a large family, that's for sure. Just like Leo, we're both from a family of 8 children. But yeah, my parents, they're both musical, not professionally, but my father, he is playing the piano and sometimes the organ. My mother used to play the flute. And yeah, there was certainly music, not only classical music, but also. And for some reason, I really wanted to play the violin when I was 4 years old, and my parents were a bit surprised. Well, where did you get the idea? I don't remember it myself exactly. I think I just heard somebody play it once, and I knew for sure that's what I wanted. And my parents were also a bit surprised because the father of my father, so my grandfather, he used to play the violin. I never met him, even my mother never met him since he died quite young. And so I played on his violin when I started to play when I was 7 finally. Because my parents said when I was 4, you play outside and see maybe whether you still want it in a few years. But I kept wanting it. And then when I was 7, I started to play with the Suzuki method. And then, of course, you start to play on very small violin. Then when I was about 12 years old, I could finally play on the instrument that used to belong to my grandfather. So that was quite special.
Oh, that's a nice story. Now, Leo, did you have a true orchestra of instruments in your family to choose from?
Well, no, I wouldn't call it an orchestra. My mother played the piano when she was young, but then she started to have children and she didn't have time to play, to study. So yeah, I don't think, is this working? Yeah, okay. And some of my siblings play music. I'm the last one of 8 with a big gap between the 7th and myself. There are 14 years of difference. So I had basically like 9 parents. And some of my siblings play guitar, others sing in choirs. And my mom played piano, and my father loves music, so there was a lot of music always in my family. And why did my parents decide, or why I decided that I wanted to play piano? Well, my brother, the first one, the oldest, got married when I was 2, and they got a home, and my parents brought me to see the house, and it was still full of boxes, and yeah, they just had moved in. And I walked around the house, and when we left, my parents asked me, well, what did you think of the house? Did you like it? And I said, yeah, but where is the piano? Instead of asking where is the TV or where is, I asked about the piano, so they took note about that, and a few years later they called a very fine piano teacher who was a specialist to working with children, and I think that thanks to him and to my parents and my family, I started to love music from the very beginning.
In the early days, you were going to a regular school, were you? Before you were 13, 14, 15, before you specialized. Yeah.
Actually, I always went to a regular school. I just started the, full-time violin education when I was 18. I did both conservatory and the school where you go to high school, yes. In the Netherlands. It's always normal school, and also I enjoy that very much because in my class at high school, so from age 13 to 18, there were many children with different talents. So some used to be very good at mathematics, others in sports, some in music, and in a way that was very inspiring, to meet people. They're still my best friends in a way. who have passions also for different things. It doesn't matter as long as you have passion, and that was very obvious in that class and very inspiring too.
That's very interesting, because in Holland my impression is a lot of people take classical music seriously, and it's part of the culture, it's part of the way of life, and it wouldn't be unusual for someone to want to become a musician. That's not always the case. So you had no feeling of being a little bit different from the rest?
Well, maybe, yeah, for me, my passion was music. That was obvious. I couldn't do without it. But for other people, it was other things. You know, they were very... I had a champion of a certain sport that you have to jump with a big stick. I don't know what the name is in...
Pole vaulting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He was a Dutch champion of that. So, you know, in a way, it was different, but the same. Yeah. You know what I mean?
That's interesting. Leo, did you have a similar experience? Or?
Yes, actually, yeah, it was very similar. I went to a regular school, and the only thing, if I felt a little bit different, I mean, not different, but I had to practice a lot. So I would go home for lunch. Lunch breaks in Spain at schools are much longer than in the States. You have a long lunch break, and then you go to school until 6 p.m., I think, or something like that. So I remember like eating my lunch very quickly and then practicing for 45 minutes, and then after school going back home, do my homework and practice. So, and then during the weekends, some of my friends would tell me, why don't you come, I don't know, let's go to the mountains for a walk or something, for a hike, let's spend the weekend outside. And I couldn't, so I had to, because of music, I had to say to many things, well, I cannot, it's a sacrifice, but then it pays back. Actually, yeah, greatly. So
you felt you were specializing then from an early age?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And did you, Frederieke? Did you lots of practice time, and you denied yourself other things?
Yeah, it's true that you maybe say no to certain social things, but at the same time in music you play a lot together also with other people, so you catch up on that social aspect. And I also felt that it was a very good balance. You know, if you didn't feel inspiration to do your homework for school, you would play, and then after a while your hands need a little bit of rest, so you can use your brains again in a different way. Yeah. So I think it was, of course, you from the moment you get up, you practice 1 hour before going to school, then go to school, practice a few hours, do your homework, and go to bed. But in a way, it was a very nice balance.
So music was a social experience as well for you as a string player from an early age. I know for myself as a pianist, which I was in those days before I took up the cello, it was a very lonely experience. Did you have that, Leo?
Yes, it is. And I was speaking with, I don't remember if it was James Campbell or with Moshe Hammer a few days ago, that you practice alone so many hours, and then when you go on stage, many times there is a solo piano recital. So you are alone when you practice, and you are alone on the stage. So, and you're alone when you travel. You're alone in the hotel room. So, I mean, it's wonderful to play chamber music, and I love it absolutely to share the stage with people. But I think that it is pretty lonely, and there is only one pianist per orchestra, whereas there are 15, 20 violins per orchestra, so it is much more, well, I mean, I don't feel comfortable doing these comparisons, but I was going to say that it is more difficult to get a position in an orchestra for a pianist than for a violinist, one could say. So,
well, you've turned out to be a very sociable young man.
Thank you.
Are you competitive people? I would imagine that, you know, piano competitions have been part of your, music competitions have been part of your life, you know, from the word go. Would you say that you're a competitive person?
I'm a competitive person with myself, in a way. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It doesn't make sense to be competitive with other people, because everybody is unique, and that's what it's about in art, that you speak with your own voice, and that you go deep inside your heart to find out what you want to say about the music. So in that sense, I'm competitive, or maybe better word, ambitious, you know, to get the best out of myself. And a way to do that is to participate in competitions, you know, if you win a prize, to get opportunities to play for big audiences and to share your passion with a lot of people, because that's, of course, what all musicians dream of.
You bring competition to music is a it's a clash. It's not there, I think. So, yeah, I guess that you need to have competitions in the music world, but I don't like them.
I think a lot of us share that, but nonetheless, they can do wonderful things. And Frederieke, you won one of the big ones, the Marguerite Long Jacques Thibault competition in 2005. Now that's a big competition.
I still cannot believe that happened, but it's true. Yeah.
What did it, at a material level, what did it do for your career?
Well, as I said, it opened some doors to the concert stage. It brought me in touch with different orchestras and conductors. But still, it's not a guarantee, you know, that you will have a lifelong career. It's not like that at all. It just gives you a sign, you know, you're on the right way, but you have to continue. Meeting other people, and especially not become lazy. Always give your best every concert. You know what I mean? It's more an encouragement than it is from, okay, now you're there and now you can sit back and relax. No, it's the opposite. It's just encouragement to work very hard and to continue the same road.
You decided to maybe not specialize, but certainly participate, I don't know, in collaborative piano. In other words, in partnering singers and instrumentalists.
Well, I think that if a person is a musician, I was going to say if a musician is a good musician, but if a person is a musician, I think that that person should be able to play basically anything, alone, just duo, with a singer, trio, quartet, or playing in an orchestra. And I didn't want to just limit my possibilities. I wanted to just learn to play in as many different ensembles or opportunities. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, where do you see your careers, let's say just 10 years from now, Frederieke?
I have no idea, really. I just hope to be playing for many people. That's my biggest wish. And like Leo also says, whether that will be as a soloist or in chamber music or in an orchestra. I must say I love most to play for the public with small groups. So like we will do for you later today with a duo or, for example, piano trio. So that's what I hope to continue doing. And also I will start teaching this September in The Hague. So in my hometown where I used to be a student myself for 13 years. And I also hope to be able to continue that, because I also discovered that's another passion, you know, to share your knowledge with people with the same motivation and the same dreams. So yeah, that's just what I wish, and I have no idea whether it will happen, but yeah, the main thing is that I would love to keep sharing just the love for music and violin with as many people as possible.
Well, the very best of luck there. I'm sure you'll succeed. Leo?
The same, actually. I mean, nobody knows what is going to happen in the future, but I hope that I can, in 10 years, still be enjoying and making people enjoy. It's such a wonderful experience to walk on the stage and just share with people the music that you have been working. And what she said, playing music with other people, like a trio or a quartet, it's something magic. You have the music by Bach or by Mozart or Brahms, and but that music doesn't sound. You have the notes on the page, but it doesn't sound. So when you put your hands on the keyboard or you take your bow and Brahms sounds or Bach sounds, it's a miracle. It's really a miracle. So it's very touching, and I hope to be able to keep doing that with people like her, because it's, you know, this is our first recital together, and we have rehearsed for 3 days, and it feels as if we had been playing for all our lives. Yeah. And I hope to be playing, you know, that it's the first concert of many, and to come back here many times also.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. Leo Erice and Frederieke Saeijs, thank you for sharing your story with us today. I'm looking forward to your joint concert in 30 minutes from now, so I've got to let you go and prepare for that concert. You can find out more about Frederieke at frederikesaeijs.com and festivalofthesound.com. festivalofthesound.ca is where you can find out more about this 30th anniversary series of interviews and more about the Festival of the Sound. I'm Keith Horner. Goodbye.